when we discussed the business of the week, we on this side, led by Honorable Ablakwa, drew attention to the absence of an arrangement for the finance minister to appear before this House on the issue of the domestic debt exchange. So, Speaker, I added my voice to that call by reiterating that indeed something even more fundamental was at stake. And that fundamental issue was the very legality of the conduct of the finance minister. Is the conduct of the finance minister on his own, without the authorization of this parliament, to go and renegotiate terms and conditions of loans that he had entered into with bondholders and vary it to their detriment, whether or not that was legal? Mr. Speaker, that for me is the fundamental issue. It is not about exempting any particular category. It is whether or not our finance minister has legal authority to do what he's doing. And I want to demonstrate to the finance minister in my comment that he has no legal authority to go and renegotiate any loan without the approval of this House. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution of Ghana in Article 181, Clause 3, says that no loan shall be raised by the government on behalf of itself or any other public institution or authority otherwise than by or under the authority of an Act of Parliament. And then 4 says that an Act of Parliament enacted in accordance with Clause 3 of this article shall, Mr. Speaker, shall provide that the terms and conditions of a loan shall be laid before Parliament and shall not come into operation unless they have been approved by a resolution of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, a loan is defined by Clause 6, and it says, for the purpose of this article, loan includes any monies lent or given to or by the government on condition of return or repayment, and any other form of borrowing or lending in respect of which the monies will be paid from the consolidated fund. Mr. Speaker, debt securities issued by the government are undoubtedly loans. They are loans. Whether you are contracting the loan from an individual pensioner, or you are contracting it from a bank, or you are constructing it from the international financial markets, Mr. Speaker, it is a loan. And the law is clear that that loan, the terms, cannot and must be approved by this Parliament. Mr. Speaker, the Public Financial Management Act then goes ahead to make the enactment that is required in Article 18(1)(4). And it provides, Mr. Speaker, government borrowing and debt management. That is the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921, Section 55. It says that subject to Article 181 of the Constitution and this Act, the minister has the authority to raise a loan on behalf of the government, both within and outside the country, and in local or foreign currency, subject to Article 181. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Section 56 of the Act provides that the terms and conditions of all government borrowings, the terms and conditions of all government borrowings shall be laid before Parliament and shall not come into operation unless the terms and conditions are approved by a resolution of Parliament in accordance with Article 181 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, the Loans Act was repealed. Mr. Speaker, if you don't know, this Public Financial Management Act repealed the Loans Act. I have read the Loans Act as far back as when I was a law student. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that all forms of public borrowings must be approved by this House. And so changing the terms and conditions must equally be approved by this House. It must be approved by this House. So the Minister of Finance cannot be a law unto himself and be running wrecks on the lives of innocent people by changing the terms and conditions of a loan that they have contracted with the government of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, this is what is in issue today. This parliament is being called upon to stand on the side of our citizens because they elected the president to manage their welfare and they elected us to protect them from the same president. That is our constitutional arrangement. It is not about exempting just the pensioners. It's about ensuring that the finance minister is accountable to the people through this parliament by bringing whatever he has negotiated with the bondholders to this House so that we will be the ultimate deciders of whether it is acceptable. He cannot enforce the changes. It is unconstitutional. It is illegal. It is inappropriate. And that is what is in issue. Mr. Speaker, again, in one of the statements, after he had borrowed from the banks and rendered the banks penniless, he now tells the banks that they should go to Ghana Amalgamated Trust PLC so that they will be assisted with some funding from the Ghana Financial Stability Fund. Mr. Speaker, again, you ask the finance minister, who is GAT? Which law established GAT? Is GAT a public entity? And why will he imperil banks and now direct them to go to GAT, a private entity, and go and seek assistance? Under whose authority is he doing this? His own authority? Mr. Speaker, there is a parliament, and all of us sitting here are members of this parliament, and we must not allow something like this to happen. Mr. Speaker, he announces the Ghana Financial Stability Fund. He should tell us under which act he is establishing a Ghana Financial Stability Act. And he announces funding to be given to the Ghana Financial Stability Act. He should tell us his source of revenue and who authorizes him as finance minister to release money under the name of a Ghana Financial Stability Fund to assist the banks. Mr. Speaker, if it is public fund, he must come here and get his approval. And he hasn't come here for any approval. Mr. Speaker, this finance minister has become a law unto himself. And this parliament must sit up. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, the taxpayers who queue every 4 years to vote us have been wasting their time. Mr. Speaker, we have been elected, all of you, on all sides, so that on this day, a day like this, when the executive is trampling on the rights of ordinary citizens, we will stand to be counted. We will stand to be counted. Mr. Speaker, this parliament cannot accept what has happened. All that the finance minister has done is illegal, is unacceptable, and if he doesn't bring it here for approval, Mr. Speaker, we will not allow it to stand. We will go to every institution under this constitution to make sure that we block what the finance minister has done. We must defend the bondholders. We must defend the pensioners. We must defend the owners of the banks. We must defend anybody who has given some confidence, invested confidence in the government of Ghana, of which we are all part, and lend his money to the government. We must defend them today. If we don't defend them, then we are all wasted, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am one of those who demanded that the finance minister should be here, and it is because of this important constitutional matter.
Your time is up.
So, Mr. Speaker, in concluding, my basic comment is, Mr. Finance Minister, everything that you have done is inconsistent with the Public Financial Management Act, which vests you with all your powers. It is inconsistent with the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. It is illegal. It is not fair. It's not right. You can't do it. Please stop what you're doing. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.